so good to see you. I'm really glad we had a chance to get together.
Yeah, it's definitely time I started socializing more. I'm trying to lead a somewhat normal life.
Eva? Are you okay? Eva? Eva!
Sorry for being late.
There's no need to apologize. I was just reviewing the notes from our last session. It's good to see you again. Please, have a seat. So tell me, how are things going?
Well, it's hard to say nowadays. I guess that depends who you ask. Most would say I'm crazy, and others that I'm schizophrenic. Do you remember when my grandmother died?
Yes, of course.
After her passing, my mother had me come here. After I told her I'd seen my grandmother alive and well, days after the funeral. I not only saw her in my house, but also in public places. Sometimes it would be in the grocery store, or at school, or when I'd be out on a walk. My reason for telling you all this is that a little more than a month ago, my fiancé committed suicide. And since then, I've been seeing a lot of him.
there you are. I was beginning to think you weren't going to make it.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep in the study area for a few minutes.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just really tired is all.
Come on, I've known you since freshman year. What's bothering you?
Well, this might sound strange or unusual even, but do you believe in ghosts or spirits that linger after death?
Well, yeah, most religions believe in life after death, so that's a definite possibility.
So what about in the case of an agnostic or atheist who sees a ghost?
Maybe it's for their benefit rather than the ghosts.
Eva, oftentimes when people experience traumatic events, the mind can produce and trigger certain coping mechanisms that allow the psyche to deal with or completely block out certain events. In your case, it would seem that your mind produces images of loved ones that have passed in order to cope with the loss and sadness. Does this make sense? I'm going to prescribe you some medication that I think will help. I want you to follow all the directions and only take the prescribed recommended dosage. Start the treatment immediately, then let's schedule a time to meet in 2 weeks. Okay?
Sure.
So, can you tell me, when was the last time you had these hallucinations?
Doesn't matter. They're just a figment of my imagination anyway. Hey, Doc. Do you want to know what happened to me just before our meeting?
Yeah, sure.
As I was walking up to your office, I was reaching into my pocket and found my engagement ring. Funny thing is, I placed this ring in my fiance's casket just before his interment.
Now it's new. 'Cause I must have ain't been. Pixels and sprites. I just wanna go back. I just wanna go is all I require. Besides the lights, and bring on the old, 'cause I just wanna go back. 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 I just wanna go back.
My name is Stephen Joel Hammond. I'm a Grounds 2. That means I do landscaping work, and I've been at the college for 7 years. I'm originally from Michigan, went to Arizona to go to work in the copper mines down there. When I got there, they were on strike. So I'm sitting down there going, well, now what am I gonna do, you know? So got a good hot meal in me, good night's sleep, went down to the unemployment office, found a job at a landscape company, and I've been doing it ever since. So one thing I love about landscaping is one of the few jobs that when you're done, you can walk back, look at the work you've done, and that is instant gratification for me. So my typical work day starts out with picking up litter on the campus. Then it usually goes out mowing, weeding, spraying, pruning. I do very well at pruning because I enjoy the end results. It's an art form when done correctly. It's a hack job when it's not. Landscaping in the Northwest is unique because of the diversity of the plant material that we can grow up here. Flowers haven't opened up quite yet. Here in the Willamette Valley, there are over 1.5 million different types of plants that we can grow here. It's unprecedented any place in the country. I suppose I could say that pre-emergents are a necessary evil, if you will. I personally don't like using the product, but if we don't use them, then that would quadruple or more our spraying program. Portland Community College provides us with personal protective equipment. This is like, rain gear, rubber gloves, masks, whatever we need. And so yeah, it bothers me a little bit when I see bright, intelligent people walking around and just tossing it out there. Energy drinks, okay. It's my job to pick it up, but it's your responsibility as a human being not to do that. There was a stump in between the two rhododendrons that had rotted out. Okay, and there's a big old hole there. They were throwing stuff down in there, and it caught fire. And that's why I had to come over here and prune this rhododendron up so that visibly they're not hiding. And then I had to fill the hole in so that they're not tempted to, you know, toss their stuff down in there. Plants in a way are kind of like people. There are certain species that if you plant them next to each other, one will die. One of them will overshade another. One of them may produce a type of chemical that will kill another. In effect, I think that may be very similar to mankind, because there are people who overshade other people. There are people who kill other people. But can we really step back and look at nature as a whole and see the beauty of it? We are capable of great beauty. And the opposite is true also. One of my favorite thing that Einstein said was the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. The interconnectedness of the universe and landscaping and humanity, yes, I believe that we are all connected. Every man, woman, and child on this planet is connected to every blade of grass. We are all made of the same stuff. And to me, that's pretty awesome to think that we as human beings are literally the universe made manifest.
This is why I usually end up doing this all by myself.
Reason why I had that star on my tooth, see it there? Is because of my belief system, and I like what Carl Sagan said, that we are the stuff of stars. We done?
We're done.
Okay.
Awesome.
I didn't cuss once. How do you like that?
My name is Greg Kerr, and I am a web design and multimedia instructor at Portland Community College. I came to Portland Community College because I was interested in living in Portland. Naturally, it made sense to look for a job at Portland Community College. Second I came in, I got a job. My favorite thing about Portland Community College is the diversity among the campuses. The students who start in the beginning computer program or beginning web program tend to eventually go on, and I'll eventually get them at the end in the multimedia writing class. I do a lot of overhead presentations and walk students through coding and design in Dreamweaver or whatever program we're using at the time. You know, you have people who are really focused in multimedia, particularly in video and all of that, and I tend to have students who are very enthusiastic in multimedia. My web students, in part because they're beginning students, tend to be a little more unsure of their direction and their goal and what they're going to do with their life. So it's fun. It's fun to get a student who knew nothing and didn't know what their life goals were in the beginning, and then finally in the end they have more of an idea of what they're doing. And you certainly hope they have, at that point, a good idea what they're doing. I've been involved in independent film for many years. I've done all of the phases of production. I've met a lot of very talented and creative people in the Portland area, and I've been able to work with many of them.
I'm dying! I'm almost out of bullets!
We're all leaving here alive.
As far as displaying, though, any kind of graphic or explicit sex and violence in a film, I tend to go on the less is more concept, where you don't show it, but you can imply it, and it's very easy to imply in films. Our company, Full Brain Films, one of the main core reasons why we founded the production company was so we could give women a good role in filmmaking. This is probably the one industry that has the least segregation and integration of minorities and women of any I can think of. My favorite part of film production has got to be the writing part of it. That's the part I think that's my key strength, I believe, is in the writing. While I enjoy the production part and the chaos involved with that, to me, the writing part is really what sets up the whole thing and makes it effective, makes it work. Having a film in a film festival is already immediately just a huge, gratifying experience. The main motivating factor for me in making the film is to get my word out and to say something that may affect people. You know what I would do? If I had $10,000, I would absolutely do a short film that I've recently written that takes place, some of it in India. I would do that. I'm looking forward to staying at Portland Community College into the indefinite future.
Photography is often called the universal hobby. It is a means of creative expression within the reach of people in all walks of life, and it speaks a language that everyone can understand.
How does photography impact our lives and the world around us? It's hard to imagine what life would be like without photographs. Sometimes in my classes I'll ask students to think about what it would be like to see a photograph for the first time. My name is Kim Manchester, and I am the photography instructor for Portland Community College. The first level of the course is 140, which is beginning digital photography. And through that, typically, we're just getting students familiar with the tools and how to look at photographs, understand their meaning.
What is it about her? What's the feeling you get from her?
And then also, hopefully, to be able to communicate as artists through photography, too. A lot of people feel like you have to be either for film or for digital, and never the twain shall meet. And a lot of my students choose digital because they have access to it. And with this increased access, there's that kind of disposable factor with the image, but there's also this sense that if you make a mistake, it's okay. And I think as far as art goes, you have to be able to royally mess things up in order to get anywhere, right? And you have to be willing to do that. Film, there's a lot of investment in making it right. So I think as an artistic process, I really like how digital gets people to take risks that maybe they wouldn't normally take with film. What makes a good photographer? I would say if what your intention for the photograph is comes through clearly to the viewer. I mean, I think you could say that would be one of the ways to define a good photographer. I think for me, the whole point of photography is to elicit a response, to lead the viewer down a path, but not really tell them which one to follow and not really tell them where they're going. And that's really what makes the difference between a snapshot and a piece of art. Even if they look the same, one of them is going to influence the viewer in a way that is differently just by placing the subject somewhere else or having something not in focus. It's about what you tell them, but it's also really about what you don't tell them. Do I have a favorite photograph? I do, and it's mostly because this is the photograph that really inspired me to do photography and to kind of follow the path that I have with my own work. It's a minor white photograph, and it's very diminutive. It's very small, and there's just a picture of a reflection coming off of a window in the afternoon with a white curtain flowing. And it was one of those reflections that you get when, maybe the sun bounced off the next door house and came in through the window, and somehow it created this orb of light that was reflecting off of the wall. And there was something about that was just really magical, and that's always stuck with me. The most rewarding thing about teaching is seeing a student start somewhere and wherever they are, and then seeing that improvement just in the short amount of time that I have them. In some way I was able to provide an environment in which they felt like they could take the risks, and they did it on their own. It wasn't me pushing them, it was me just facilitating, you know, me just kind of creating the space that they could do it and feel safe doing it. But I think that's the most rewarding thing, is to really see the stuff that they do, because at the end of the term you're tired, you're spent, you're ready to have a break, but then you see what they do with it, and that just, you know, rejuvenates you, and it fills you back up, and you're ready for more. So.